So I have a bit of a confession to make, which is last weekend I went out on the boat with a friend of mine, and about 15 minutes in, everything was fine. Engine was full throttle, pushing the boat at about 6.5 knots, and all of a sudden the throttle cut off and engine died. Couldn't turn it back on, wouldn't idle for more than like 5 seconds or so. Tried to, disassemble it, took the cover off and tried to figure out what was going on the water. But ultimately, I had to get the tow of shame and come back into the harbor here. So yeah, that was last weekend. This weekend, I'm back at the boat, and my mandate today is to figure out what is going on with the engine. So I wanted to take you along in my troubleshooting process around what it could be. A really simple formula for where to start on something like this is gas or air. That's the 90% of the engine problems I've ever had in my life, were just gas not making it to the engine or air being obstructed from the engine. So I've got, my gas is pretty old. This is ethanol-free gas, but there is some kind of crud inside it. So I'm just gonna drain this whole thing and make sure it's not an issue with the gas. All right, let's go fill this up with fresh gas. All right. Now I'm gonna pump all the gas that's in this line out, so we have nothing but fresh, clean gas going to the engine. Okay, so I've got the top off, clean gas is going in there. I got it to idle for about 5 seconds on a pull start, but now the electric start isn't doing anything at all. And one thing I noticed when I was trying to fix this when we were still on the water last weekend was if I was rocking this forward and back, it's rear, neutral, forward. This is a gear shifter. But the starter only works in the neutral position, and it wasn't really firing in neutral. It was like firing halfway in between neutral, forward. Okay, I drained the carb. Let's see what happens now. Come on. So see, it runs for a second there, ran for a second there. This may be a distraction, but I'm trying to see if the leads to the battery are completely good. Here's the ground. That's very solid. Yeah, that's so clean. That's absolutely not the problem. All right, well, okay, so there might be multiple issues going on here. Number one, it doesn't crank at all electrically, and it could be a number of reasons for that. It's completely silent, and it was turning over before. So probably what's happening is the neutral safety switch is corroded, which is this thing, that white thing there. It probably believes that the motor is in gear. And so one way to test that is I could short the wires coming out of that component, which probably is not super safe, but as long as we're right here, it's okay. But I think if you short the wires around that circuit, then that will tell me if that's the problem. The other problem, I think, worth checking out is the starter solenoid. So basically it's the thing that connects power to the starter from the battery terminal. It's these two red lines there. This left one is the live one, this right one is the starter motor. So the solenoid connects those, and it does look pretty corroded and shitty, so probably worth a look as well. I did learn that the manual start circumvents that entire circuit. So you can actually manually start this motor in reverse or forward. So that, I think, bypasses that issue, and if I can start it manually and it's fine, then I'll take it. So I'm gonna try that right now. Hear that? I'm gonna pull the spark plugs. Well, these actually look atrocious, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace these. A couple bucks. Probably worth it to make sure it's not the problem. Okay, we got some new spark plugs in there. Really fresh and clean. I'm gonna drop the motor back down and see what's happening. Unfortunately, I think I got to take this carburetor off. So I'm disconnecting the cable, the linkages, and going to be super careful because if I drop a bolt in the water, I'm absolutely hosed. And luckily, I actually have a second backup carburetor, and there's some gaskets and things in here that I can probably make work. So, yeah, didn't want to take this off, but I think that that's probably the problem. Okay. I think we can move on to the 10mm bolts. This is terrifying me, but there's just 2 of them. Wow. Got it. Bolt number 1. There we go. The carburetor is off, my friends. Look at that. Let's take this thing apart. Take a look at it. The inside looks really clean where it was attached, so no obvious blockages or dirt or obstructions or anything like that. All right, let's take a look at this thing. Here's an amazing tip. One of these magnetic bolt holders. Just put all your project bolts in there. It's always helped me. So this is the air box. I highly doubt there's anything. Yeah, this looks totally fine. However, shouldn't there be a filter in here? Looks like there's no filter. Anyway, this is not the issue. So now we're gonna take a look at the bowl. So let's get in here and see what we got. Wow, that's full of crap. Jesus Christ. Well, this has got to be the issue, I think. Look at that. Can you see the gunk on there? What a disaster. Filthy. Let's wire brush some of this stuff off. This definitely looks dirty and gross. It's definitely been disassembled before because there is clear machine marks on some of these screws. I'm going to short this wire because I can't stand manual starting this any longer. Hey! Okay, I need to adjust the idle valve, but that sounded fixed to me. And I'm just going to let this run for, 15-30 minutes to make sure that there's no surprises next time when I take the boat out and I don't have to take another tow of shame. Hurry boy, she's waiting there for you.